The Chinese send a spy balloon to overfly U.S. territory, and the president not only doesn't do a thing about it until it's too late, but neither was he going to tell anyone until American civilians saw it and reported it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. Last week saw the most extraordinary event since the War of 1812. A spy balloon from the People's Republic of China overflew the continental United States. That balloon, or its wreckage, is now in the Atlantic Ocean, if it hasn't been fished out already. But the United States government wasn't even going to tell the people about it until much later, if ever. They only told the people about it after some ordinary civilians spotted it in the skies above Montana. Furthermore, we now learn of a second balloon over Latin America and possibly a third over Canada. Why did the Chinese send them? What are they planning? When, if ever, was our government going to tell us? And why didn't certain governors invoke Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 and scramble their own Air National Guard to take care of it themselves? Before I answer these burning questions, I do want to shout out to the prime sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views. Link in the description. And be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. Lots of great merchandise there, especially this t-shirt that I have chosen for today, which reads, "Freedom isn't free. Its price is bravery." And I saw cowardice from this president. And bad planning for the last many, many years. One more thing. If you like what you're about to hear, you can like this video. You can also click the bell icon to get a notice every time I come out with a new one. In fact, do you see the new icon, the heart shape with the US dollar sign in it? That's the super thanks icon. If you really want to keep these videos coming, click that and leave me a tip. Any currency will do, so long as it's legal tender. Reportage on this spy balloon story comes from the Daily Caller, American Briefing, Reuters, Associated Press, NBC News, Fox News, Just the News, Steadfast Daily, The Trump Train, American Update, America First Report, America Action News, and WorldNet Daily. I'm going to do my best to give you a chronology of actual events. I will begin on Monday, January 30th, which is my best estimate that I base on how fast that balloon must have traveled, and that in turn has its basis on when people sighted it. The balloon must have overflown the Aleutian Archipelago on Monday and then overflown Canada. Presumably it traversed the Yukon Territory and the provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan. On Wednesday, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, scrambled jet fighters out of Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. Their mission? To track the balloon, but not to shoot it down. President Biden had decided the military would shoot it down only when possible. Why was it not possible as soon as they saw it? They said they didn't want to have pieces of it falling onto anyone's bean. Then on Thursday, the first civilians spotted the balloon over Billings, Montana. Then and only then did the Pentagon, through Brigadier General Pat Ryder, U.S. Air Force, say anything about it. The general said, and I quote, "The United States government has detected and is tracking a high-altitude surveillance balloon that is over the continental United States right now. The U.S. government, to include NORAD, continues to track and monitor it closely. The balloon is currently traveling at an altitude well above commercial air traffic and does not present a military or physical threat to people on the ground. Instances of this kind of balloon activity have been observed previously over the past several years." What? Once the balloon was detected, the U.S. government acted immediately to protect against the collection of sensitive information, unquote General Ryder, who alleged that the balloon had limited intelligence gathering capability. Well, yeah, right. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken had planned to take a trip to China, but after the first civilian reports broke about the balloon, he put that off. Indefinitely is the word I get, and as well he might. The balloon's track took it near 3 strategic air command missile bases, at least. On Friday, the Chinese admitted that the balloon belonged to them, but they insisted it was a weather balloon with limited self-steering capability that blew off course. They said, and again I quote, "The Chinese side regrets the unintended entry of the airship into U.S. airspace due to force majeure. The Chinese side will continue communicating with the U.S. side and properly handle this unexpected situation caused by force majeure." Close quote. Now, for those of you scratching your head and asking, force what? Force majeure means any orders one must obey or any circumstance beyond one's control. But NBC quoted the Chinese as speaking rather imperiously. Again, I quote, "We have noticed relevant reports and are learning about this matter. What I want to emphasize is that speculation and conjecture are not conducive to a proper settlement of the matter before this matter is clarified." Close quote. Some people have got a lot of nerve. President Trump tersely suggested that the government shoot the object down at once. I have a link in the description to his post on Truth Social. I also have links to a Twitter tweet by Governor Nikki Haley of North Carolina and 2 tweets by Representative Ryan Zinke from Montana, saying the same. I also have a tweet by Betty Johnson, who interviewed Congressman Zinke and heard him say, "Shoot it down." Then came a report that ought to electrify you. Before I broach that, I want to shout out to a sponsor who can really help you through the economic storms to come. That sponsor is OurSilverLines.com. Do you feel like you're working harder for your money just to get by? You are not alone. The fluctuating economy, employment issues, and unexpected changes in life have left many families struggling over the past few years. Collecting gold and silver can help shield you against many of these challenges. But if you're like me many years ago, you don't know where or how to start. Our Silver Lines helps by connecting you with thousands of members who are learning the secrets to creating and protecting true wealth by collecting precious metals. Whether you just want to collect rare and unique coins or take advantage of the business opportunities this company provides, either way, they can help you learn to live an exceptional life. Visit OurSilverLines.com. Learn how you can build a legacy for your future. And now, prepare yourselves for a shock. I mean the H-E double hockey stick of a shock. Reports came in of another balloon over Latin America, specifically Costa Rica. J.D. Rucker at America First Report suggested the original object is one of 4 things. Spying and taking lots of pictures, its capabilities being far from limited. Making a dry run for carrying a nuclear device designed to detonate in the stratosphere to create an electromagnetic pulse. WorldNet Daily said the same. Rehearsing a biological warfare attack, although Rucker discounts that. Or attempting or rehearsing a hack of American Communications Command and Control. I have a link in the description to a video talking about those theories. Then came reports of explosions over the Montana sky. Now, Representative Zinke first passed on and then discounted those reports. I have links to 2 tweets discussing those reports by him and another by Aaron Flint, a local TV talk show host. So you can forget about the explosions. They probably didn't occur. There's no evidence of that. On Friday evening, Governor Greg Gianforte of Montana complained bitterly to Tucker Carlson that the U.S. government failed to brief him. Not, that is, until the object was hundreds of miles in. I have a link into the description to the Daily Caller's video on their Rumble channel. Next, the object passed over Kansas and then North Carolina. I have a link to a tweet with an excellent shot of the balloon against a clear blue sky over Fairview, North Carolina. By then, General Ryder was not pretending that either balloon was anything but a spy balloon. On Saturday, the FAA closed the airspace over the Carolinas to all air traffic, and then at last the object drifted over the Atlantic Ocean on Saturday afternoon. That's when U.S. jet fighters, presumably Air Force, shot it down. I have a link in the description to a tweet having video of what I assume is a Navy salvage ship going out to the splash zone. Now, my analysis. First, let me anticipate this question. Why didn't any state governor activate his state's Air National Guard to shoot the balloon down? Can every state governor have forgotten that a state governor has full authority to resist an actual invasion with direct military force? After all, the Constitution does so state. Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, the War-Making Clause, reads in relevant part, no state shall engage in war unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. Close quote. At least a deployment of that kind would seem reasonable. Unfortunately, there's nothing to deploy. No state under the balloon's flight path has any combat aircraft to its name. The Air National Guards of the states involved have airlift, intelligence, communications, and support roles only. The Texas Air National Guard could be the only Air National Guard with actual combat aircraft that it can field to repel an invasion. Specifically, the 149th Fighter Wing has F-16 Fighting Falcons. So obviously the heartland is shockingly vulnerable. That being said, the United States Air Force let a spy balloon take pictures and do sophisticated radio sniffing near at least 3 missile bases. The steps of which General Ryder spoke to prevent such photography and sniffing are far from clear. And again, when were they going to tell any state governors? Apparently never, for they spoke only after civilians looked up in the sky and called in to report. As for not wanting debris to fall onto the ground and do damage, that defense will not hold. Any damage from falling debris is minimal compared to the damage to our national security that the balloon surely did before the Air Force finally splashed it. And that damage is definitely done. We must assume, worst case, that the object's instruments gathered all the data they needed and transmitted it to Beijing. You want to know what I think? This could be a prelude to a repossession of Taiwan and a rehearsal of another Pearl Harbor style attack. Tellingly, this incident has shaken even Dr. Stephen Turley's usual imperturbable equanimity as regards China. Convinced as he is, or was, that the Chinese have re-embraced Confucianism, he never took serious alarm at their actions until today. I have a link in the description to his video on the subject, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, he gave an earful. I have rarely seen him so angry. And here's the thing, that I'm not even sure that Dr. Steve, bless his heart, sees yet. China sees itself as the middle kingdom to rule the world. They always have, even in the millennia of their emperors. The Chinese Communist Party, furthermore, sees itself as having picked up the torch that the Communist Party of the Soviet Union dropped with its own dissolution. Furthermore, they could be getting desperate. Their population has peaked and is declining. Thank their one-child policy and the virus that shall remain nameless for that. So if they ever want to neutralize the United States and conquer the world, this is their last chance. But they have also shown conclusively that they own President Biden. Now that should concern every American. Links to the description of the article, to Trump saying to shoot it down, to Governor Haley and Representative Zinke saying to shoot it down, to the video talking about what that balloon could be there for, to the reports and debunking of the explosion story, to the video of Governor John Forte asking when was he going to get a briefing, to the passage over North Carolina, to the Navy deck landing ship going out to the splash zone, to Dr. Steve Turley giving everybody an earful, to my Declarations of Truth Twitter account and the conservative news and views. I've also left links to the awesome CNAV Store and oursilverlines.com, as I also mentioned. You know already about how to like a video, turn on notifications, and leave a tip. On the end screen, I'm going to leave a subscribe link to my channel and links to those 2 videos that I mentioned, and maybe another video if I can find one just as good. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.